and welcome to the Microsoft Dynamics CRM Accelerator tour. This video is designed to give you an overview of the extended sales forecasting accelerator, which acts as an extension to the existing sales capabilities within Dynamics CRM. A copy of this accelerator can be found on the UK VPC image, or you can download the software from Codeplex at the location on your screen now. The CRM accelerators are a series of add-on modules which are designed to complement the existing CRM functionality. They deliver broader solutions over and above the standard CRM capabilities and act as a template or jumping-off point to inspire our partners and customers to utilize CRM to its full potential. Each accelerator is supported by Microsoft and available for download through Codeplex at no cost. Okay, so looking at the Sales Forecasting Accelerator in more detail, it really does act as a natural extension to the existing sales capabilities within Dynamics CRM. It utilises the opportunities area and also fiscal settings, so we can start to identify and track our sales pipeline from a sales team right the way down to a sales individual. What's great about it as well is that we get notification as an individual salesperson of any new goals that have been set for us, and it allows us then to sign off those individual targets and start to associate our opportunities so we can see how well we're doing. There's also a series of reports that are included as part of this accelerator where I can see my forecast as an individual and also as a team. From a technical perspective, we've got 2 additional custom entities that have been added into the application for tracking of goals, plus 4 workflow definitions where we can start to manage that salesperson goal sign-off, an audit trail of any changes, and starting to also provide a notification of any new sales goals that have been added. There are also 2 custom reports for tracking those sales goals and seeing how well we've done, and also viewing what's our goal versus our estimate versus our actual. Okay, so let's take a look at a demonstration of the Sales Forecasting Accelerator. As part of this demonstration, I've already set up a series of sales goals for a team of 3. We'll have a look at those sales goals and those sub-goals and have a look at how we can start to view those notification and sign-off emails. We'll then associate an opportunity to an existing goal and start to view a progress report through the forecasting charts. Let's take a look at the product. So let's take a look at the Forecasting Accelerator embedded within Dynamics CRM. So I'm logged on as a guy called Harry Ellis, who's a managing director of an organisation. Therefore, he's got the ability to not only see his own sales goal, but also his sales team members as well. So if I go into the sales section of Dynamics CRM, you'll see that there's an additional entity that's been added at the bottom of the screen to start to track those goal management areas. So when I select into the goals area, I can see I've got 3 goals that have already been set up. One for Harry, one for Harry's sales executive, Paul West, and one for Paul's sales executive, Dave. These are all linked together so I can start to identify what we've got to do as a team, but also what the individuals have to do in their own right. If I double click into Harry's goal, I can start to track and store additional information about that particular sales goal for that month. I can see that it's assigned to Harry. I can see that I can set my own currency. I can also identify when Harry has also signed off that particular goal. Underneath, the time period is picked up from the fiscal settings of Dynamics CRM, but I can then specify the start date of when that's kicked off. In the period targets area, I can then start to track information on my minimum, my meet and my exceed targets in monetary values. So this is Harry's sales goal, but if I want to see what Paul West is doing, who works for Harry, I can then go to the sub-goals area on the left-hand side to then see if a goal has already been set up for him. You can see here, if I double-click into Paul West's information, exactly the same view appears, but you can see now the owner is relating to Paul. It is also linked back to that parent goal of Harry's, and you can see the date and the time that Paul signed off that individual target. Those target settings at the bottom are also slightly less than Harry's, and I can start to identify when he signed off that information through a notification that's been fired off from Workflow. The moment that those goals were set, that email was then sent out to Paul, informing him of the period that that goal starts and finished, and the goal specifics as well. So therefore, the salesperson gets instant visibility on any changes to the sales goals and has the ability to track any sign-off information should they wish. I could then go down as many levels as I wish, so if Paul has sales team members underneath him, I can then also start to track those in further sub-goals. And you can see I've already got one set up there for Dave Richards. So I'm just going to go back a level and go back to Harry's main screen, and if I actually have a look into the opportunities area, I can also start to see what opportunities have been associated for that particular goal. You can see here I've got 2 opportunities that have been added. One is for ERP software and install, and the other is for mobile phones. If I double click into that opportunity record, it then launches the opportunity screen, and you can see that there's now an additional field that's been added that allows me to associate this particular opportunity back to that sales goal. This can either be manually added in through the lookup button on the right hand side, or this could be automatically added in through workflow activity built within the opportunity screen. Okay, so I'm just going to close out of that opportunity screen and head back to Harry's main screen, and I'm going to look at some of the reports that have been added. You can see I've got 2 additional reports that have been added in as part of the Sales Accelerator. One for tracking a goals graph, and the other is looking at a matrix of information. Just to give you a snapshot of what they both look at, I'm just going to open up the goals graph so you can see. And what essentially it does is it shows you a graphical form of information looking at Harry Ellis's goal, his estimated and his actual. Quite a simple chart, but it does allow me to drill down a level from Harry straight the way down to Paul's information. There I can see Paul's details, and then down again as well I can go and have a look at Dave, who works for Paul. Very, very simple report which we can easily export into different formats through SQL reporting services. So I'm just going to close out of this report and just have a quick glimpse at the other one. So if I open up the report screen and select on Goals Matrix, this is again a very similar report, but it shows in more of a traffic light system whether we're on target or off target. And you can see that we're quite successful in our team. I can identify that Harry's doing pretty well, as is Paul and Dave. Very, very simple reports, but very easy to extend and change to fit with an individual organisation. So the Sales Forecasting Accelerator really is quite intuitive, very, very simple to add things in, has nice workflow activities to remind the salesperson to sign off their individual goals, and also you can start to add additional checklist options through workflow so we can start to ensure that our salesperson are managing their activities correctly. It's very, very flexible to extend, so if the terminology doesn't fit with the organisation that you're selling it to, then you can easily change that to fit with them. Thank you for taking a look at the Sales Forecasting Accelerator. For further details, please download it from the Coplex link site that you saw at the beginning of this presentation, or have a look at the further videos and documentation through PartnerSource.